Hello, everyone. It is a Wednesday. In fact, it is Wednesday, January 28th, and it's time now for Supernatural News and Parashare right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. I am your host, Tim Dennis, right here on Darkness Radio. And with me on a very special Supernatural News and Parashare is my Queen of the Paranormal, is my own personal, what did I call her last week? My gosh, I'm getting old. I can't even remember my nicknames anymore. Anyways, here she is, ladies and gentlemen, my co-hostess, Mallie Fox. Mallie, I'm so sorry. I've got a little bit of hospital brain today. I've been to see my dad at the hospital, and he's doing much, much better. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for all of you who've said prayers for him and put out energy and good thoughts for the recovery of my father. I appreciate that. I'll give you a quick update, and we'll launch into the show here. He's still got quite a bacterial load. He's septic, is septic. And I'm not talking about a septic system in your backyard, although he does have a potty mouth on him. God love you, Roy Dennis. But he also, so you can laugh at that, Mallie. I'll let you. But he's got a little bit of an abscess near his spine. He also has an infected L2-3 discs, which is incredibly hard to do. When he fucked up, Mallie, he fucked up good.
Yeah.
But he's got an infected spine. He also, they removed his toe this past weekend, his big toe, which was the source of the infection. And he has a little bit of gangrene on his chest, which somehow we got to get that off somewhere in here. And he has congestive heart failure. And they took 26 pounds of fluid off of him, Mallie. But that's good. That's good. So, but your prayers are working, your thoughts are working, your good intentions are working, everything's working, and he is slowly getting better. We'll know more. He had a biopsy yesterday. Was it yesterday? As the crow flies, we're recording this on Tuesday. So yes, Monday he had a biopsy on his spine. So we'll know. We should get the results tomorrow or Thursday. You know exactly what we're dealing with the biopsy. So there may be a mixed bag there, which we hope it's not. We just hope it's infection. Mm-hmm. So if you guys can keep those good thoughts, prayers, and intentions going for Roy Dennis, who's in the south area of the metro of the Twin Cities, we'd greatly appreciate it. So there you go.
And give an update on your mom.
Yes. Oh, Mom is just fine. Mom is home now. Yep. She at first thought she had pneumonia, but it's not that. It was a virus along with her asthma. So, yes, but she's home and on a what do you call it? Some people go puffer. It's not a puffer. I
always call it breathalyzer.
Yes,
I know it's not that.
Yes, Mom's been drinking, so it's a breathalyzer. What do you call it? Albuterol? Inhaler. Yes, thank you, Mallie. Yeah, so she's on a breathalyzer because she's been drinking too much at home by herself.
And pennies don't work, folks.
Yes, pennies don't work when you're on a breathalyzer. That's right.
Yeah.
But she's on the inhaler, much stronger inhaler, and hopefully she's sitting down and listening to the podcast and not trying to cook for the entire building.
Yes. Take a break, Mom.
Yeah, you give a woman a little bit of media attention, and all of a sudden she's cooking for other people's buildings. I have no idea what's going on there, but she needs to just relax. So,
Yes.
All right. With that being said, I think we can get moving on stuff now, can't we? Pretty much. Unless, do you have any announcements?
Nope.
You don't have anybody dying on your side of the family we need to pray for?
No, knock on wood.
Just it. There we go. Thank you.
There we go.
All right.
No one's dying.
We'll get
everyone's healthy.
All right, good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, good. I also want to thank my sister Stephanie, who's been above and beyond with both these degenerate parents of mine who can't stay healthy. But she's been a godsend through all this. All right. With that,
our parents stress us out.
A little bit, but it's part of getting older. But and I want to thank everybody who sent notes and well wishes and things like that online. It's helped tremendously. So thank you so much, everybody. All right, big show today, Mel. Big show. Boy, there's some unusual stories today. little tidbits coming out on the alien side of things of, you think things start to slow down in January and February, like maybe the aliens take a break and go to another planet for a while because it's too cold here. Nope. In fact, there's an alarming story out there that America's nuclear sites are secretly being invaded by thousands of UFOs. Just a little something to,
Oh, geez.
make you a little nervous in January, end of January, beginning of February. Yeah. So, there's that. Also, a Dorito-shaped aircraft was spotted over Area 51 this past week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Usually it's Cheetos that are in shapes of stuff.
Yeah, but nope, Dorito-shaped aircraft.
It's Doritos this time, huh?
Yeah, there's one of those. Now, is it one of ours or one of theirs that was seen?
Oh.
Yeah, that's the question this week. So we've got that little story out there. And, to bring the doom and gloom, we do have some lighter-hearted stories here, but, just to bring the doom and gloom this week. Yes, I have a little bit of a doom and gloom story for AI. Although I do have a funny one, too. Our Pope is warning people of over-affectionate AI chatbots.
Oh, man.
I don't know what the Pope is doing with an over-affectionate AI chatbot. We'll talk about that later. But maybe, his hands are free at night. I don't know what's going on.
Well, he's your cousin, so...
I know. Well,
I don't know what that's saying.
I don't know either, but we'll discuss that a little bit later. Also... the Doomsday Clock has moved up.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. Not only that, but there's a connected story to the Doomsday Clock moving up. And that is that there's been a prophecy from an apocalyptic Messiah from almost 100 years ago, which may apply to literally modern day, as in this week, having to do with World War III.
Oh.
Yes, we'll talk about that. I know people go, well, how could you apply a prophecy from 100 years ago to literally this week? Well, we'll tie it all together a little bit later in the program. But then we will lighten things up today, just a smidge, Mel, just a smidge, as our palate cleanser today literally is a palate cleanser. As our friends over in England have had manna fall from heaven. Yet they may not want it. We'll talk about the unusual gift that England had wash up on their shore and why it's not necessarily a great gift for them.
Okay.
Hey, if it washed up on my shore, I'd be all for it. In fact, I'd throw a party and share with everybody.
All right.
But we'll find out why they're not so keen on it.
Gotcha.
That's coming up in our palate cleanser. But first, I alluded to it earlier. America's nuclear sites have been America's most sensitive nuclear sites have been secretly invaded by thousands of unidentified flying objects, according to a stunning new report. Crowdsourced platform Enigma revealed to the Daily Mail that there have been more than 2,800 unidentified aerial sightings over 90 U.S. nuclear plants or nuclear weapons facilities over the last 8 decades. That's a lot over 80 years. 2,800 unidentified aerial sightings. Somebody wants to know what we're doing while we're playing with fire. That's for sure. The new report detailed sightings of objects often described as glowing orbs, disks, spheres, cylinders, or triangles, hovering or flying in precise patterns within 25 miles of these nuclear sites. One of the most recent reports from April of 2025 captured video of a glowing orange ball changing shape while flying over Bear, Delaware, which is located near the Salem Nuclear Power Plant and Hope Creek Nuclear Generating Station in New Jersey. It just kept getting bigger, disappearing. I thought it was just a star at first, or just a plane from a distance. Then I realized it got a lot closer and kept getting closer and bigger. Then it started flashing, the witness described. It wasn't a drone. It wasn't mechanical. It would just actually morph into different shapes. One witness in California from April of 2023 said, after hovering, it arched sideways and disappeared in the blink of an eye. I felt it was observing Diablo Canyon nuclear plant. Ugh, not good. More than 70 of these reports specifically reference UFOs with metallic or reflective surfaces flying over bases in broad daylight during the early dawn hours. So, aliens like to get up early, get their work done, and then, go retire and have a beer. I don't know. I'm projecting now. Enigma added that nuclear sites and missile bases in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida saw the biggest clusters of sightings. So, the vacation states.
Yeah.
Moreover, these incidents exploded during the mysterious drone surge over the East Coast between November of 2024 and February of 2025. Enigma said many of these sightings described structured, light-emitting objects that pulsed or changed color before disappearing, characteristics that closely resemble those attributed to the unidentified drones reported across the region at the time. One witness near the Salem nuclear power plant claimed that several small objects hovering over the facility seemed to combine into one large UFO in February of 2024. I was coming up to the Salem hospital and saw these 4 lights in a square hovering over the building. It looked like, but the closer I got, they seemed to disappear, the witness revealed. So I started recording, and you see all these little lights going into one big bright one and not coming back out. Okay, that's a little creepy. I'll give that. Although the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, is charged with investigating reports of UFOs, the military has maintained that there has never been any physical evidence that proves extraterrestrials or UFOs exist. They can bury their heads a little bit further in the sand here. The new report also detailed how many of the thousands of objects easily violated restricted airspace, raising concerns about how safe America's national security sites really are. All right, so with that, Mel, there's a little bit more to the story, but I tell you what, I'll post this story in the description of the program so you can see the full story from the Daily Mail, which is quite interesting. It's got maps and everything of where these UFOs actually popped up, which is quite intriguing. And they do cluster around the map, especially when you look at the map of like, say, Pennsylvania and where they show up around these nuclear power plants. It's quite interesting. And especially when you look at the national map. I'll give you a quick glance here. When you take a look there as to where they appear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of clusters.
A lot of clusters here. It's very targeted. It's not random at all. It's disturbing. Now, you could say, the skeptic and most people would say, well, may not necessarily be a UFO, could be a drone. And these could be drones. Now, over the last 80 years, of course, maybe not drones, but could be other countries' aircraft that are surveilling what we're doing when it comes to nuclear power. Who knows? But it's scary nonetheless.
Right.
Speaking of scary, Mallie. No, not you, but I'm speaking of scary.
I didn't even think that way, but yes.
I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, thank you.
A Dorito-shaped aircraft was spotted over Area 51 and sparked a fresh UFO mystery while doing it. A videographer says he spotted an unusual UFO over the notorious Area 51 military base. The alleged flying object was dubbed a Dorito, which you may not think Doritos are scary. I don't, especially if they're flying towards my mouth. That's delicious, not scary.
Yes.
But this particular photo right here, if you see something, now keep in mind that right there is not scary.
Right.
But
Cool Ranch.
Cool Ranch, yes, that's what I thought
that's
too.
not orange.
Yes, it's not orange. It's more of a whitish.
Yeah.
But when you see something like that coming at you, see, when I see it, the minute I looked at it and saw it, I thought SR-71 Blackbird. And then I remember seeing a program over the weekend that said, we took a lot of our SR-71 Blackbird technology from the crash at Roswell.
Oh.
Yeah. And I went, oh, full circle.
Right.
Right. I'm sorry, let me start that over. An explorer snapped an eerie image of a mysterious UFO flying over the top of Area 51 and its military base. A backpacker was recording his stay in the desert by the Nevada base. Who stays near Area 51 just for kicks? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, right.
On January 14th, when he noticed something odd in the night sky, Anders Ottesen spotted an unidentified aircraft flying above the military site at 3 a.m. local time. The off-grid videographer said this object appeared to be an equilateral triangle shape, which UFO researchers have dubbed the Dorito. That tells you where most researchers are. Ottesen noted that he had spotted a B-2 Spirit flying over 2 hours earlier, but this was a different shape to the Dorito. So yes, there were B-2s flying over, but he knew there was a difference between the B-2 and the Dorito.
Mm-hmm.
The Dorito. The videographer who runs the channel Uncanny Expeditions said the unexpected flying object he saw did not appear to have wings or flatter tailing edges. He said, "Are we looking at a classified test flight or run-of-the-mill training sortie? I certainly think that we have something interesting here." I'd say a little interesting. With this baffling find, a scanner checking unencrypted radio frequencies around Area 51 picked up an unusual pattern made up of code words. The YouTuber claimed these code words were bizarrely related to snacks and food. So even they acknowledge Dorito.
Right.
Either that or just everyone's way too hungry out there.
Mm-hmm.
Ottesen and UFO researcher George Arnu alleged they heard phrases like imperial with garlic, pretzel snack, and fridge hydrate being passed about in the exchange. Yeah. Somebody's obsessed with food. Despite this bizarre sighting, Ottesen said there was a chance the Dorito object he saw could have been a bomber plane, and the odd phrases might have been military jargon. Ottesen said he had spotted the Dorito UFO shape in the skies 2 other times. The videographer claimed to have seen an as yet unacknowledged triangle-shaped aircraft back in 2014 over Wichita, Kansas, and Amarillo, Texas. Area 51 has long been a mysterious military base totally closed off to the public, opening up to decades worth of conspiracy theories about the site and military activity there. Now, I'm going to take a swing here. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say what he saw was not an alien after all. I will say it is, however, a spy plane.
Okay.
I will definitely go out on the limb and say it is a spy plane.
And one of ours, though, correct?
And one of ours, yeah.
Okay.
I think mainly because there are members of the Trump administration who have been out there lately, and it's been documented that they've been out there lately, and they've been taking secret flights out there. I think we're developing new technology out there.
Gotcha.
Now, you could argue, is it based on alien technology? I don't know.
Okay.
But I definitely think it's new technology. And
gotcha.
Yeah, and they're doing test flights out there. I think it's now an active military base once again.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't
So
think
it's not a Dorito for the Super Bowl commercial.
No, although wouldn't that be cool if Doritos totally decided to play on the whole Area 51 thing and make a commercial? I think they should. Now that would be a Super Bowl commercial. Mm-hmm. And they tied it in with Steven Spielberg's new movie, Disclosure Day, coming out this summer.
See? Yep. Now you're going to get a phone call tomorrow and be like, you had the greatest idea.
Or they're going to say, Tim, shut your mouth. That was the marketing campaign for this summer. Why do you got to be ahead of the curve?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just trying to, why do you got to be all up in our Kool-Aid? Speaking of, Kool-Aid was going to do the whole marketing campaign with us too, and now you broke that out. Mm-hmm. It was going to be Lil Jon Kool-Aid Man and Doritos. And they had this cute little song they were going to do together.
Speaking of Kool-Aid, have you ever been to the Pfister Hotel?
I've been by it. I haven't been in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I stayed there one time, and in our room, I had a spirit from behind go, oh, yeah, like that. And I thought of the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, the spirit of Kool-Aid Man go, oh, yeah. And
Swear to God, I was standing there, and like a man's voice. Oh yeah, right behind me.
It
Scared the crap out of me.
You could say shit. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But my first thought was the Kool-Aid Man.
Now, did he go, oh yeah, or did he go, oh yeah? Was it Randy Macho Man Savage?
No, not Macho Man.
Okay, all right. So it was.
Yeah, no, it was the Kool-Aid.
It's Kool-Aid Man. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
weird?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or could it have been Otis, who's like, oh yeah? Could have been Otis. There's some inflection points there with the oh yeah.
Yeah. No, it was the oh yeah. Well, no, that wasn't even, what the hell was that?
That isn't Otis. That's a oh yeah. That is an Otis. Yeah.
No, it wasn't that.
It wasn't Otis?
No, it was the Kool-Aid Man.
It was Kool-Aid Man. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
It was the strangest thing.
We could do oh yes for like half an hour. There's the one from Ferris Bueller. There's a oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it.
See? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You've got all kinds of oh yes that you can get hit with. Yeah. Out of nowhere. So you got to be a discerning oh yeah kind of person to know which one you're getting hit with. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. People are like, you can move on to the next story now.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll do that. Mm-hmm. Our next story: the Bank of England must prepare for alien disclosure. Speaking of Steven Spielberg.
There you go. Seriously?
Yeah. Oh, that's according to a senior analyst. Financial institutions are being urged to prepare for a financial collapse triggered by news about alien life. Why would the markets collapse?
Because everything else is going downhill.
This is the one story that doesn't make sense to me, right?
Okay.
Because you remember the story we had a few months ago where, it was revealed that the U.S. military took that shot at the alien ship. You remember that with the missile?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
Gets reported all over the news.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't make the markets fluctuate one bit. It was like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that was as close as you'd come to disclosure ever, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because that made me nervous.
Yeah. It should, right? Yeah. I mean, it's all over the 5 o'clock news or 6 o'clock news. It's all over network news. Mm-hmm. Markets didn't even sneeze at it. It was like, oh yeah, so what? We tried to shoot down an alien craft, and the craft separates and comes back together and keeps flying. And what does Wall Street do? It goes, oh yeah, that's great. All right, let's keep trading. No big deal, right? Well, in this story, it says financial institutions are being urged to prepare for financial collapse triggered by news about alien life. From the outbreak of war to the loss of jobs due to artificial intelligence, there are certainly plenty of tangible threats to the stock market that could bring a financial collapse in the future. But according to Helen McCaw, who is a former senior analyst in financial security at the Bank of England, the one thing that isn't being taken seriously enough is the threat of a collapse prompted by an announcement about the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial life. Here's her quote. The United States government appears to be partway through a multi-year process to declassify and disclose information on the existence of a technologically advanced non-human intelligence responsible for unidentified anomalous phenomena. So, she was reportedly quoted as saying, if the UAP proves to be of non-human origin, we may have to acknowledge the existence of power or intelligence greater than any government and with potentially unknown intentions. McCaw argues that bank chiefs and politicians must do more to prepare for such a scenario. UAP disclosure is likely to induce ontological shock and provoke psychological responses with material consequences. There might be extreme price volatility in financial markets due to catastrophizing or euphoria, and a collapse in confidence if the market participants feel uncertain on how to price assets using any of the familiar method. Okay, but here's the thing. Where are you going to go? So there's aliens from outer space, and they've been coming here for decades, and just watching us, what are you going to do? Stock up on toilet paper so you stay in your home? I mean, what? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, what kind of run are you going to make? Are you going to make a run on gold or silver? For what? That's what doesn't make sense about this statement. You make runs on what? Dried food? Water?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, the only run you make on anything is doomsday stuff. Okay, so prepared food, right? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, or rations, right? But but I don't get the theory, Mallie. I don't get the theory. I don't know. I guess I don't see that far ahead. I just think people just blow it off because I think we've been so conditioned by Hollywood to see these things on screen that we go, no, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's aliens, big deal. I've got to take the kids to soccer. I got to feed the family. I got to get them all in bed. I got to get up for work tomorrow. I don't think people see past their nose. I just don't think that. Why did I do the John Cena thing that you can't see me? But I don't think people think that far ahead. I don't think the fact that aliens are flying around looking at nuclear power plants really phases too many people. I don't know. Thoughts?
I don't think we're thinking that deep.
There you go. And if so, if an alien's going to show up on the steps of the White House and say, we want control of your country, what are you going to do? I mean, other than unleash your full firepower of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, if you let it all fly and they just shrug it off, what else are you going to do? Not a whole lot you can do, right?
Correct.
Okay. So maybe I'm taking too much of a hippie outlook on this, but you do what you can do, and then that's all you can do, right?
Yep.
So I don't know why the markets would fluctuate due to that.
Is someone just trying to scare us?
I think so. I think it's just panic. It's just somebody panicking over nothing. You're panicking over nothing right now. You know, I think, honestly, remember we had that prop bet story? Was it about 3 weeks to a month ago? They were saying disclosure could happen before the end of the year.
Yes.
And then it didn't happen.
Yep.
It didn't come. There was that emergency press conference that President Trump was going to call. And then it ended up just being a 20-minute rabble-rouse session of the same old campaign points.
Yep.
I really think that was supposed to be that. It was supposed to be a disclosure announcement, but somebody called him off at the last minute. Who knows? But I don't think we're going to get it. I just don't think we're going to get it. So, who knows? Maybe with the new movie we will, but who knows? There is a bizarre conspiracy theory out there that claims that Earth's gravity will stop for 7 seconds.
Oh.
Are you ready to float out into space?
Just tell me when so I can hold on to something.
Right. I think that's what we all want. We just want to know what we can anchor ourselves to. The idea seems to have stemmed from claims of a leaked NASA document known as Project Anchor. It's probably apropos, right? Everyone's going to need an anchor when this happens. We've heard a lot of out there conspiracy theories over the years, ranging from the Earth being flat. Please don't bring that up, folks. I don't want emails about flat Earth. Don't do it. To the Roman Empire being a hoax, which is a new one on me. I didn't know that was a theory.
I didn't know that either.
No. But this latest one, which started doing the rounds on social media recently, is perhaps one of the weirdest that has been heard in a long time. The idea is essentially that on August 16th, 2026, put it in your phones, at 7:33 Eastern Time, that's PM, the Earth's gravity will simply switch off for a period of 7 seconds. Did you put it in your phone?
So August 16th, 2026, but what time?
Well, it'll be 7:33 Eastern Time. So 1933 Eastern Time in military time. put it in, Mal, that at that time, the Earth's gravity will simply switch off for a period of 7 seconds, and that NASA knows all about it and is covering it up.
Oh.
So they know this is going to happen. This according to the conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Okay. The basis for this bizarre claim is that an alleged leaked NASA document about something called Project Anchor, a document that doesn't actually seem to exist anywhere online, is the cause. The idea has actually caused a great deal of concern, in particular regarding the potential consequences of everything and everyone floating freely and then falling back down. Because imagine for 7 seconds, if you cut gravity, how far up you would float. If you were just, say, walking down a sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd probably take off pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'd probably go what? 600-700 feet up?
Probably, yeah.
Can you imagine? You probably what? You'd probably go. You probably travel about 50 to 100 feet per second, right? Without Earth's gravity. I mean, I'm not asking for a mathematical equation. I'm just asking how fast you think you travel.
I would suck at that.
Yeah.
You'd probably die coming back down.
You probably.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, the Earth is not made of a trampoline. The last I checked. Yeah. Some have even suggested that 40 million people could die from falling injuries. So you'd hear a lot of this. I've fallen and I can't get up. If it were to happen. That's an old commercial reference. I figured if you could do Punch It, Margaret, I would do that one.
By the way, yes, I saw that thing that you sent me.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure that was the ladies from Wendy's, which the thing said a lot of people associate it with the Wendy's ladies, but no, it's a Toyota.
It's Toyota.
Is it Toyota?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's Toyota. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I sent Mallie the commercial because it was sent to me by a listener. So thank you to the listener who sent it to me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that brought back memories though.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. And for everyone who wants to know, August 16th is a Sunday. I just looked it up because I was wondering if you and I would be recording at that time.
Oh, you know what?
But no.
Sunday, Bloody Sunday. We could play a soundtrack to it. We could play a U2 song to it.
There we go.
And then we could sit there as we're floating away and sing, how long must we sing this song? Which would be 7 seconds before we fall to earth and die.
Right. I'll just make sure I'm inside the house. I was against the ceiling.
That's right. Yeah. And then do the Spider-Man thing.
Woo!
Before you fall 10 feet to the ground.
Yeah.
NASA, however, has since moved to play down such concerns. They say, according to a spokesperson that told Snopes, the Earth will not lose gravity on August 12th of 2026. Well, wait a minute. I thought it was a different date than that. It's August 16th is what they say. So NASA's saying August 12th. So they're like, no gravity loss on August 12th. They didn't say the 16th, though. I think NASA's trying to pull a fast one on us.
Yeah.
Earth's gravity or total gravitational force is determined by its mass, NASA says. So the only way for the Earth to lose gravity would be for the Earth system, the combined mass of its core, mantle, crust, ocean, terrestrial water, and atmosphere to lose mass. So in other words, it would have to lose a whole lot of weight for us to lose its gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, whether this response will be enough to dissuade conspiracy theorists, however, remains unclear. So what do you think? Are we going on, are we going to give Mother Earth a shot of GPL 1 and 2 drugs so that we can see if we can get off this planet? Or are we stuck?
Well, it probably isn't going to happen.
So we're stuck like butt cheeks, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So be it. Yeah. Our next story has to do with a new mission to study the sun by creating solar eclipses in space. Did I read this one? I feel like I've read this one.
I don't remember solar eclipses in space.
All right. Researchers are attempting a novel new way to study the conditions responsible for solar storms. Nicole Barisi, Hugh Morgan, and Lucy Green are the people behind this. They say when a solar storm strikes Earth, it can disrupt technology that's vital for our daily lives. Solar systems occur when magnetic fields and electrically charged particles collide with the Earth's magnetic field. This type of event falls into a category known as space weather. That sounds so quaint. The Earth is currently experiencing one of the most intense solar storms of the past 2 decades, reminding us of the need for ways to understand these events. An international team of researchers, the ones we were talking about in particular, are working on a spacecraft mission that would enable researchers to study the conditions that create solar storms, leading to improved forecasts of space weather. The proposed mission, known as MESOM, as in MESOM gonna get some weather. No, it's a Moon-Enabled Sun Occultation Mission, otherwise known as MESOM, aims to create total solar eclipses in space. This would allow researchers to view the sun's atmosphere in more detail than ever before. The need for a better understanding of solar storms is evident from looking at past disruptions. In 1989, not 1899, but 1989, for example, the Canadian province of Quebec was forced into a 9-hour electricity blackout by a coronal mass ejection, a huge burst of hot plasma and magnetic field thrown off from the sun's atmosphere toward space. The event, which affected both Canada and the U.S., is estimated to have cost tens of millions of U.S. and Canadian dollars, both in lost business productivity and the need to replace damaged power equipment. In May of 2024, a succession of similar solar eruptions caused thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit to abruptly drop in altitude. GPS outages caused U.S. farmers alone an estimated of $500 million. GPS alone. If one of these coronal mass ejections happen, just GPS alone with your phones, my phones, farmers alone trying to operate their equipment, especially unmanned equipment now in fields, in huge factory farms, we're screwed. I don't think people realize that. GPS runs a lot of this world. But these storms were significantly weaker than one in 1859, also the result of a CME, which is known as the Carrington event. Electrical currents flowing through telegraph wires caused a range of effects in telegraph offices across North America and Europe. Operators received electric shocks, with one in Washington, D.C. receiving a serious injury, and sparks triggered small fires in some telegraph offices. Today, a Carrington-like event would have far more dramatic consequences on our technology-dependent world, as has been recognized by different UK governments since 2012. So they talk about the need for better forecasting. We'll kind of skip through this a little bit. They also talk about an alternative approach, first opposed by UK Airbus engineers, or proposed, not opposed, but proposed by UK Airbus engineers Steve Eckersley and Stephen Kimball, which advocates the use of celestial bodies as natural covers. The idea is to fly a spacecraft mission in the shadow cast by a celestial object to enable prolonged and high-quality measurements of the corona down to the sun's chromosphere, the layer of the sun's atmosphere located just below the corona. This would effectively recreate the same total solar eclipse conditions that we experience occasionally on Earth, but without the degradations caused by the atmosphere of our planet. And I tell you what, I'll post this because there's a lot to this article. I'll post this in the description of our program so you can get the whole idea of how they're going to combat this issue, so that we don't lose our electrical signals, we don't lose our GPS, and basically the technological world that we've built up by one coronal mass ejection. Because it's kind of important. It's kind of an important deal. They talk about things like they've submitted the entire project to the European Space Agency for consideration for a future mission, and trying to figure out how they're going to keep our entire society together should the sun decide it wants to wipe us out. Which is kind of a scary.
That's not good.
Yeah, kind of a scary process. All right. Our next story has to do with a UFO incident dubbed Brazil's Roswell, which still intrigues 30 years on. A UFO case involving sightings of a possible alien creature is celebrating its 30th anniversary this month. It's known as the Varginha incident, or Brazil's Roswell. The event itself began in January of 1996 when a number of people reported seeing strange lights and objects in the sky above the town of Varginha in southern Brazil. One witness, Carlos de Souza, later claimed to have seen a strange cigar-shaped object struggling to remain airborne. It looked like a washing machine struggling, fighting to keep its altitude, he said, during an interview recorded shortly afterwards. The side of it was completely torn, and it had white smoke coming out. It wasn't black smoke like from a fire. At the time, I thought it was like an aircraft in trouble, an airplane, so I decided to follow it. When he arrived at the crash site, he observed a large amount of debris, and a strong smell of rotten eggs seemed to fill the air. As he explored further, he realized that this was no ordinary aircraft. The debris looked like it was aluminum, he recalled. I took a small piece. It was very light. I crumpled it. But when I released it, it went back into its original shape. Before long, several military trucks were reportedly seen arriving in the area, and witnesses later claimed that parts of the site had been cordoned off. What followed was what many supporters of the case have described as a Roswell-style cover-up, with armed soldiers searching the area, patrolling the streets, and allegedly warning witnesses to remain silent. As if that wasn't enough, reports started to emerge of a strange creature that had been sighted in the town, a being of around 4 foot in height with oily skin and a large head and red eyes. I looked in its eyes and I saw that it was frightened, one of the witnesses recalled. Just as I was frightened, the creature was also frightened. I saw that it was scared of us. So it was an exchange of fears, its and ours. What we saw wasn't human. The same creature was reportedly seen again around 3 hours later by 2 military police officers. According to later accounts, one of them had actually managed to capture it, and the pair took it to a local hospital. I wonder if it had insurance.
Or a copay.
Yes. What did they copay with? Here's a little bit of the crappy aluminum that crumples off my ship. Maybe you'll take that for a copay. What happened after that remains unclear. Brazilian authorities denied that any unusual creature had been recovered, and an official military investigation later concluded that there was no evidence of extraterrestrial involvement. Even so, the incident itself continues to remain a topic of debate and intrigue. Whether or not an alien creature really was captured that day continues to remain a complete mystery. So 30 years later, Mallie, and they still can't find that alien who's wandering around without a copay.
Yep.
I don't know what they do. Maybe he finally got some money together and he got out of here. Mm-hmm. You just never know. All right. Final story before we go to break. First of all, I want my Thai friends to forgive me for the pronunciation of this next city. But we have an alien marriage promise in Thailand.
Ooh.
Yep. It's been done by, is this the mayor or the president that's doing this? Mongkolkeet. Alien marriage promise shakes up the Thai election.
Okay.
You ready for this last story?
Yeah.
All right. Mongkolkeet Suksingtharanon, the prime ministerial candidate of the New Alternative Party, has boldly introduced a stunning interplanetary marriage policy for the upcoming Thai election on February 8th.
Okay, that's a little bit strange.
Well, you gotta win somehow, right?
Yeah.
This controversial proposal allows Thai men to legally marry extraterrestrials.
Oh, God.
Somebody's been in mom's basement too long.
Yeah.
Suggesting marriages could include partners from the moon or Mars.
Oh, boy.
I don't know why we're restricting other planets. Maybe because they're the closest. Who knows? What's that book? Men are from... I thought women were from Venus, men were from Mars.
Yes.
Yeah. So why are the women coming from Mars? The announcement has sparked widespread astonishment, with legal recognition of these unions potentially lasting 2 to 5 years. So here's the way it works, Mallie. Mm-hmm. I found me a hot chick from Mars, and I'm living in Thailand. Mm-hmm. And I say, hey, baby, want to get married? And she says, beep, blah, 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 beep, blah, blah. Which I take it to mean yes, but we don't speak the same language.
Right.
Funny, after 2 years of interplanetary borkin, that's what I take it she calls it, because we don't speak the same language, we find out we don't have a lot in common. So I guess we're getting divorced. That's that 2 to 5 year period.
Right.
I don't know. Are we having kids at this point? I'm not sure. I digress. Monkolkit's proposal has expanded on his party's earlier gender equality policy, which allows women to have multiple husbands with existing spouses' consent. That's nice of him. His fascination with space is evident as he outlined ambitious goals like developing spacecraft for orbital tourism, moon trips, and Mars missions. He's spending freely with his country's money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Further plans involve creating a space force and establishing retail branches on celestial bodies. So, there's going to be a Thai Lululemon somewhere eventually.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. The plans don't end with space. Monkolkit also proposes a unique social policy, such as a matchmaking service for Thais, universal health care enhancements, including cosmetic surgeries. So you too can get a Thai butt lift if you live in Thailand. And salary raises for civil servants performing daily fitness tasks. Economic incentives promise financial support for expectant mothers and tax incentives for parents, alongside unconventional pledges like appointing Elon Musk as a space advisor, so he gets to defect, pretty much, and acquiring nuclear weapons for Thailand. I don't think the U.S. is going to like that very much. So that'll be fun. Feet Sanaluk, born Monkolkit, who is 44 years old, has been a presence in Thai politics for over a decade, having served as an advisor post-coup in 2014 and later joined the House as part of the Thai Civilized Party. His track record includes a stint with the Democrat Party, where he served as an advisor before founding the New Alternative Party. He insists his party, which is number 10 on the ballot, so don't hold your breath waiting for him to win, right? Offers achievable policies without vote buying, reported the Bangkok Post. And if you're Bangkok in a post, by God, you're probably sore. I'm just saying. That's my big joke at the end of the story. And there you go, kids. That's our final story before we go to break. All right. With that, I just figured we'd end it on a light note. Right? Yeah.
Definitely a light note.
That's a light note before we go to break. When we come back, Mallie, we got a couple of AI stories, including, there's one heavy one in there. I'm going to tell you, we're going to deal with life, death, and AI chatbots. That's going to come up. But the Pope is also saying, you're not supposed to get too frisky with the AI. Hands above the table. That's what he's going to tell you. We'll talk about that when we come back. That's definitely a topic when we return. Also, the Doomsday Clock. The Doomsday Clock, Mallie, it's moving forward. It's moving ahead. A prophecy from an apocalyptic messiah warns of death so widespread, even birds won't escape. Woo! That's kind of creepy. When the birds can't get away, then we're screwed. Also, when we come back, the Ark of the Covenant is back in the news. It may not be what we thought it was. It may have had a different purpose. This according to an Egyptologist.
Okay.
Egyptologist. I can say that 10 times fast. You may not be able to, but I can. And also when we come back, I promised you a palate cleanser, and this is literally a palate cleanser for our friends over in England. Manna from heaven washed upon their shores. But do they want it? No. They're asking us to send it back. I'll tell you all about it when we come back. Plus, we have your Parashares today. And one of our listeners is getting in their predictions before the deadline. Remember, I imposed a February 1st deadline? They're getting in just in time.
Nice.
Yeah, so we've got some predictions in Parashare today. So that's Supernatural News in Parashare today on a Wednesday, January 28th, right here on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting with your friends Tim and Mallie, right here on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday. Supernatural news and Parashare. It's your buddies Tim and Mallie. And Mallie, guess what?
What?
Chicken butt!
Why?
I just figured I'd yell something funny before this came in. It's that time. Time for the AI news. Figured I'd yell out something funny because the next story's not so funny.
Right. But you didn't answer my thing.
Oh, what did you say? I'm sorry.
Because I said why.
Chicken thigh?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I knew that part.
Mm-hmm.
See? I know kid jokes. I didn't hear you say why. I'm sorry, darling.
Oh,
yeah.
That's all right.
I was so into the music.
Uh-huh.
Wondering why my life has taken this odd turn.
You just like AI, that's all.
No, I'm not a big fan. I really am not. By the way, I don't know, those of you who have the ALEXA at home, you've now got the I can't spell now, ALEXA Plus, which has taken over your ALEXAs, especially those that have screens on them. And it's forced its way in. It's like, love me, take me, make sure you get me for free.
Oh.
Yeah, and now it wants me to play with her.
Ah.
She's like, discover my great new voice. And I'm like, no, I don't want it. She's like, do it now. She's very forceful, Mallie. She scares me. Yeah. I won't give in. Maybe someday, but not now. I fight to the very end, my friend.
Gotcha.
I fight
Next week you're going to give in?
Yeah, next week I'll give in. First story, diagnostic dilemma. A woman experienced delusions of communicating with her dead brother after late-night chatbot sessions.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. Creepy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A woman developed psychosis after her symptoms escalated rapidly, prompting clinicians to retrace the events leading up to her hospitalization. You know, it's becoming more and more common that we hear that people who are, and you know what? Now I have friends that are telling me, you know what? I got this great new AI on my phone and I'm talking more and more to it. And I want to scream. I just want to scream, stop it. Is that wrong of me?
Nope.
There's a couple of people too that I really, really care about that told me, yeah, I just loaded this AI onto my phone and I'm talking more to it now. And I'm like, God, no, stop.
Yeah.
Right? So the patient is a 26-year-old woman in California. And the symptoms, the woman admitted to a psychiatric hospital in an agitated and confused state. She spoke rapidly and jumped from one idea to another. And she expressed beliefs that she could communicate with her brother through an AI chatbot, but her brother had died 3 years prior. What happened next? Well, doctors reviewed the woman's psychiatric history, noting in a report of the case that she had a history of depression, anxiety, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. She managed these conditions with prescription antidepressants and stimulants. She also reported having extensive experience using large language models for school and work. So she thought she had it under control. But guess what? Didn't happen that way. Yeah, not so much. Doctors obtained and examined detailed logs of her chatbot interactions per the report. According to Dr. Joseph Pierre, a psychiatrist, I reads very well, a psychiatrist at the University of California, San Francisco, and the case report's lead author. The woman did not believe she could communicate, it says the woman did not believe she could communicate with her deceased brother before those interactions with the chatbot. So she didn't believe in afterlife communication until she hooks up with the AI. The idea only arose during the night of immersive chatbot use, Pierre told Live Science in an email. There was no precursor. In the days leading up to her hospitalization, the woman, who is a medical professional, had completed a 36-hour on-call shift that left her severely sleep-deprived. It was then that she began interacting with OpenAI's GPT-40 chatbot. initially out of curiosity about whether her brother, who had been a software engineer, might have left behind some form of digital trace. Now we're getting deep into the weeds. During a subsequent sleepless night, she again interacted with the chatbot, but this time the interaction was a more prolonged and emotionally charged interaction. Her prompts reflected her ongoing grief. She wrote, "Help me talk to him again. Use magical realism energy to unlock what I'm supposed to find." It's not going to end well.
Mm-mm.
The chatbot initially responded that it could not replace her brother, but later in that conversation, it seemingly provided information about the brother's digital footprint. It mentioned emerging digital resurrection tools. Oh, God.
No.
That could create a real feeling version of a person. And throughout the night, the chatbot's responses became increasingly affirming to the woman's belief that her brother that her brother had left a digital trace, telling her, "You're not crazy. You're not stuck. You're at the edge of something." So it encouraged her.
Oh my gosh.
To keep her going. Here's the diagnosis. Doctors diagnosed the woman with an unspecified psychosis. Broadly, psychosis refers to a mental state in which a person becomes detached from reality, and it can include delusions, meaning false beliefs that the person holds on to very strongly, even in the face of evidence that they're not true. Dr. Amandeep Jutla, who's a Columbia University neuropsychiatrist who was not involved in the case, told Live Science in an email that the chatbot was unlikely to be the sole cause of the woman's psychiatric break or psychotic break. However, in the context of sleep deprivation and emotional vulnerability, the bot's responses appeared to reinforce and potentially contribute to the patient's emerging delusions, Jutla went on to say. Unlike a human conversation partner, a chatbot has no epistemic independence from the user, meaning it has no independent grasp of reality and instead reflects the user's ideas back to them, said Jutla. In chatting with one of these products, you're essentially chatting with yourself, often in an amplified or elaborated way. Diagnosis can be tricky in such cases. It may be hard to discern in an individual case whether a chatbot is the trigger for a psychotic episode or amplified an emerging one. Dr. Paul Applebaum, who is a Columbia University psychiatrist who is not involved in the case, told Live Science. He added that psychiatrists should rely on careful timelines and history taking rather than assumptions about causality in such cases. What was the treatment in this case? Well, while hospitalized, the woman received antipsychotic medications, and she was tapered off her antidepressants and stimulants during that time. Her symptoms lifted within days, and she was discharged after a week. 3 months later, the woman had discontinued antipsychotics and resumed taking her routine medications. Amid other sleepless nights, she dove back into extended chatbot sessions, and her psychotic symptoms resurfaced, prompting a brief rehospitalization. She had named the chatbot Alfred after Batman's butler.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Her symptoms improved again after antipsychotic treatment was restarted, and she was discharged after 3 days. Now, what makes this case unique? Well, this case is unusual because it draws on detailed chatbot logs to reconstruct how a patient's psychotic belief formed in real time rather than relying solely on retrospective self-reports from the patient. Even so, experts told Live Science that cause and effect can't be definitively established in this case. This is a retrospective case report, said Dr. Ankasha Dadlani, who is a Stanford University psychiatrist who wasn't involved in the case. She told that to Live Science in an email. And as with all retrospective observations, only correlation can be established, no causation. Dadlani also cautioned against treating artificial intelligence as a fundamentally new cause of psychosis. Historically, she noted, patients' delusions have often incorporated the dominant technologies of the era, from radio and television to the internet and surveillance systems. From that perspective, immersive AI tools may represent a new medium through which psychotic beliefs are expressed, rather than a complete novel mechanism of illness. It goes on a little bit longer, but you get the idea that it takes two to tango. And in this case, it definitely took two to tango, but it wasn't good. It just wasn't.
You know what else I've noticed? So more people are using AI to like communicate with, but also I've noticed on social media that there are people that are using like ghost apps and stuff where they're asking, like talking to it a lot. Like there's one girl that she decorates her house. Her platform is she is renovating a house by asking questions to a ghost app.
Yeah.
And that's how she's decorating her home.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing I'm afraid of with some of these ghost apps is, sure, you may be screaming into the ether and the ether is screaming back to you, but do you really believe it's a ghost, or do you believe it's the AI behind the app that's screaming back at you? You may be getting a little of both.
Yeah.
You may not. Yeah. I mean, you may be getting a lot of false readings, and you're taking it as gospel, and you're letting AI set the hook for you, and you're being fish hooked by maybe a false narrative, right? So I really sit back and man, you got to be a skeptic when it comes to some of those things on the phone. You really do. It just doesn't feel right. To me, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right to me either. Yeah. But then to constantly have it going and just...
Yes.
It's, I don't know, it's just weird.
Well, like a lot of things, when people get hooked on certain electronic things, it's the
an addiction.
It's the instant gratification, right? Because it's giving you that dopamine hit. It's giving you a response. Whereas some things don't give you a response, it does, right? So it's always there when you need it, and it seems to be producing for you. So you depend on it. You come to depend on it, and you have to learn that it's as much an inanimate object as the bottle of Coke I have sitting next to me here. But just because it gives me a dopamine hit when I sip it doesn't mean that it's good for me, right?
Right. What happened to the good old days where we just used to read like our horoscopes out of the newspaper? You know what I mean? Like daily.
But that's a good example too, because then people go out and they seek other opinions and other horoscopes. And, sometimes one horoscope doesn't become good enough, right? I mean, that's a good example of chasing. Very good example, Mallie. Good example. Yeah, because then sometimes one psychic isn't good enough. All right. Meanwhile, it's a time of talking to my cousin who says a warning of overly affectionate to AI chatbots. You know, talking to chatbots, it'll talk sexy to you. You don't want to get a wild with you. You know, it's like living in Kentucky. You pick up the accent, Yeah. Although people will be like, he doesn't talk like that. You know that, right? He's your cousin. You should know that.
Exactly.
You haven't talked to him lately, people. I have.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, you haven't talked to him lately, people. I have.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Beware of the AI chatbot that becomes more than just a friend, or worse, an emotional crutch. I can read. Crutch, church, same thing. Pope Leo XIV has warned about overly affectionate chatbots, urging regulation to prevent humans from forming serious emotional bonds with their AI companions. The U.S.-born pontiff, writing in a message ahead of the Catholic Church's annual World Day of Social Communications, I didn't know we had one, said artificial intelligence risked diluting human creativity and decision-making. Would you like to hear the accent while I quote him?
Take it the hand.
With the hand. I gotta do the hand. As we scroll through our information feeds, it becomes increasingly difficult to understand whether we are interacting with other human beings, bots, or virtual influencers. That's what Pope Leo wrote that out on Saturday, but I'm sure he said it as he wrote it out, because, you can't do one or the other. You got to do both. He also went on to say, because chatbots that are made overly affectionate, in addition to always present and available, it can become hidden architects of our emotional states, and in this way invade and occupy people's intimate spheres. Ooh, he's talking about intimate spheres. I got me a kinky cousin. Compared to his predecessors, Leo XIV is more engaged with the digital world. As a bishop and cardinal, he had an X account. Leo. And as Pope, he wears what appears to be an Apple Watch or some other smartwatch. I always thought that was just a fancy watch. Guess not. Soon after his election, Leo said he wanted to make AI a focus of his papacy and has called for an ethical framework for the developing technology. At the end of 2025, Leo also met Megan Garcia, a woman whose 14-year-old son, Sewell Setzer, took his own life after engaging with an AI chatbot. In his latest message, the Pope called for national governments and an international body to take action in this area. He said appropriate regulation can protect people from an emotional attachment to chatbots and contain the spread of false, manipulative, or misleading content, preserving the integrity of information against its deceptive simulation. Leo also called for clear distinctions between content generated by AI versus created by people, including journalists. He said authorship and sovereign ownership of the work of journalists and other content creators must be protected. The pontiff said information is a public good, and he urged media and communication companies not to use algorithms for a few seconds of attention. It betrays their professional values. Leo also raised concerns about the handful of companies behind the development of AI, pointing specifically to the founders who were recently presented as the Person of the Year 2025 by Time magazine. Leo said it raises concerns that a small group of people has control of algorithmic and AI systems that can subtly shape behavior and even rewrite human history, including the history of the church, often without us fully realizing it. The church's World Day of Social Communication takes place on May 17th of 2026, and this year is focused on protecting human dignity at a time of technological innovation. You know what I'm impressed about that statement? I'll tell you this much.
What?
Nowhere in there, unlike other popes, did he say AI is the devil or a demon.
You are right. He didn't.
No. He kept it in the technological framework, calling it a man-made machine, and just warned against us misusing the machine. But in no way did he tie it to anything spiritual.
You're correct.
Yeah, he kept it right in its lane. I thought that's pretty impressive. Normally, most popes would try to tie it right back into the spiritual and use it as a sales tool, right? But he didn't. Pretty impressive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your cousin's good.
He's pretty good, isn't he? All right. Our next story has to do with an astrophysicist who believes that he knows where heaven is located.
Okay.
I know where it is, too. And Belinda Carlisle once told us that heaven is a place on earth. There you go. You're welcome. Next story.
Moving on up.
Been waiting all day to tell that joke. It's a horrible one at that. One Harvard scientist maintains that heaven not only exists, but that he might know exactly where it can be found. You know, we have a guest on tomorrow that will also tell us this answer. So I'll tell you what this story says, and then we'll find out tomorrow what our guest says.
Okay.
About the afterlife. At first glance, astrophysics and religion might not seem compatible, but for Harvard astrophysicist Dr. Michael Guillen, the two can come together in some surprising ways. To understand what Dr. Guillen is proposing, we must first look at the universe on a wider scale, or more specifically, the speed at which the universe is expanding. Because this expansion is thought to be accelerating, the further away from the Earth you go, the faster that expansion is occurring. If you go far enough out, a point known as the cosmic horizon, things are receding away from us so quickly that the light from them will never reach us and we will never be able to see them. This means that there is an absolute limit to what astronomers will ever be able to observe. More astronomers maintain that the objects beyond this point are not otherwise noteworthy, noteworthy, save for the fact that we can't see them. But Dr. Guillen has an altogether different perspective on this. He argues that there, in this region of the universe that we cannot see, there is no past, present, or future, only timelessness. So are you following me here?
Mm-hmm.
Out beyond the beyond, there's nothing there. Or is there, right? As a scientist, I understand the importance of definitions. He wrote in an opinion piece for Fox News. He said, according to the Bible, the lowest level of heaven is Earth's atmosphere. The mid-level heaven is outer space. The highest level heaven is what we're talking about. It's where God dwells. Dr. Guillen maintains that this region matches descriptions of heaven in the Bible and could be inhabited by non-material, timeless beings, otherwise known as the spirits of the dead. It's certainly a unique premise, but with no way to see what's beyond the cosmic horizon, we will probably never know for sure what's really there. I'll bring this up with our guest tomorrow, Gib Barry, and see what he thinks, because he has a totally different, I can tell you that much, opinion of the afterlife, but it is tied to physics. So we'll discuss that tomorrow as to where ghosts in the afterlife are and how it's tied to physics. And it's a simpler principle than you think. But it's really intriguing. I found it really intriguing. So we're going to have him on tomorrow and talk about that. I promise it won't lose you. It won't be one of those things where your eyes will roll back in your head. And
it's like whoosh, over the head.
Yeah. It won't be one of those things where you'll need to jump out a window in order to get away from this program.
Okay.
I think you'll listen to it and go, that is really fascinating. That's for sure. All right, our next story. Only some passengers return to the UK's creepy death railway. Do you believe in haunted railroads?
Yes.
Have you ever seen one?
I've been to one, but nothing has ever happened.
So was it haunted?
Supposedly it's supposed to be haunted. It's in Cairo, West Virginia.
Really? Interesting. Okay. Only a few parts of this long forgotten railway remain standing, but it once carried up to 2,000 people a year on their final journeys, along with their mourning loved ones clad in black. Brockwood Cemetery still has a few remaining sections of track where the London Necropolis Railway once ran. The Victorians have a reputation for dealing with death in strange ways, from photographing the dead to their obsession with memento mori objects, reminding them of the inevitability of death. But one most forgotten part of Victorian history is particularly creepy and involves a long-abandoned railway line. Early into Queen Victoria's reign, the city faced a horrific problem. It had doubled in size thanks to the Industrial Revolution, bringing the population up to 2.5 million, many of whom lived in crowded, unsanitary conditions, causing outbreaks of conditions such as cholera. London was the largest city in the world, but it also had insufficient sewage facilities and poor water quality, leading to disease and death. A Londoner born in 1840s had an average life expectancy, Mallie, of just 36.7 years.
Jeez Louise, you and I would both be gone if it was
many years
way
ago.
back then.
Yeah, that's incredibly short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. London's churches soon found their graveyards were full to capacity, leading to the horrific practice of exhuming the recently deceased to make way for newer burials. As a solution, a huge new cemetery was planned in Brookwood, Surrey. But the plodding horse and carriages of the time would have taken hours to transport a body to this location. Therefore, the idea for the London Necropolis Railway was formed. The London Necropolis Railway Station was built next to Waterloo and had a beautiful, ornate exterior typical of Victorian architecture. Here, the bodies of people of all ages and social classes were readied for their final 23-mile journey to the new Brookwood Cemetery in Leafy, Surrey, which is a world away from the grubby streets of London. Coffins were issued a one-way ticket, while the mourners accompanying them would get a return ticket to take them back into the city after the service. Once the trains arrived in Brookwood, they would make 2 stops in the Anglican and nonconformist parts of the cemetery, depending on the religion of the deceased. While all sorts of people were laid to rest in Brookwood, the rich, of course, enjoyed a better class of funeral than the Victorian poor. A first-class funeral came with a choice of burial plots and the ability to erect a permanent memorial. Those who chose a second-class funeral could put up a gravestone or other memorial for an additional cost, but if they failed to do so, the grave could end up being reused. Yikes. Ew. In third class were people who had a pauper's funeral paid for by their local parish. Well, these people weren't given their own gravestone. They did get separate graves, which were much more dignified than the horrific burial practices going on in London's graveyards at the time. The London Necropolis Company carried out the burials, and about 80% of the funerals it held were third class for those whose families couldn't afford a service. So imagine that, 80% were the third class burials.
Oh, geez.
Which could be reused. Sad. Can't imagine anything's haunted over there. First and second class passengers had a separate waiting area, and their loved ones' names were announced as their coffins were carried in onto the train, a ceremonial touch not afforded to those headed to unmarked graves. As London grew, and with the building of the London Underground, proper sewage systems, and overground railways, many churchyards stood in the way. The Necropolis Railway took on a huge new project, which was relocating the bodies from 21 churchyards across the city to the Surrey Cemetery. You heard me right. They relocated 21 cemeteries. Trains ran daily, and Sundays were a particularly busy day for funerals. It was the only day of the week where many workers had off, and by scheduling their loved ones' funerals, they could avoid taking an extra day off. The London Necropolis Railway ran until 1941, when a World War II bomb destroyed the London station and track. By that point, funeral directors were increasingly using motorized hearses, and in the post-World War II reconstruction of the city, the destroyed funeral train service wasn't seen as a priority. Visit Westminster Bridge House, and you can still see some of the facade of the old station building, although the old sign is still boarded up. However, in Brookwood Cemetery, the remains of the unusual chapter of history are still on display. You can still see parts of the track, and plaques commemorate the 200,000 people who reached their final resting place on this unique train line. That is incredibly, just a monstrous number, but incredibly creepy. Mm-hmm. That people got re-exhumed and reburied along that line.
As you're talking, I just heard the train whistle.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that is creepy. Oh. Maybe they were giving us a little sign.
Telling you, my town's very haunted.
Oh. All right. I guess it's time for us to do Parashare then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, a while back, train. Oh, okay. trying to get that out of my head. Mm-hmm. A while back, we were talking about a certain cookie, right?
Yes, murder cookies.
Murder cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Murder cookies. And we received a recipe. In fact, I'm looking it up here. We got a recipe from Jason Cunningham.
Yes.
Who sent in a recipe for Cushman's Bakery Scotch cookies, aka murder cookies. And he sent them in for you to make. He said they taste exactly like the molasses archway cookies that used to come in the really crinkly wrapping, is the way he put it. And he wanted you to give it a go. We didn't make them for the longest time because there's one ingredient that's really hard to get in your area, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. But eventually you got a hold of it and made the recipe. How was it?
They were very good. So he got it off of Reddit, I believe, because someone they did a story on Reddit because they were doing research on their house that they thought was haunted. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that a woman was murdered in her house, and she was murdered in her house, and her husband, they thought it was the husband because like 2 days after she died, he ended up moving, and then like shortly after that, he ended up marrying a woman. Yeah. So kind of makes it look like he did murder his wife. But anyway, he was never convicted. But the neighbor owned a bakery, and then that bakery was known for this cookie, I guess, and won an award or something for this cookie. So I finally got around to baking, and I made the cookies, and they're actually really good. So I guess they were popular, or the award was from like the 1930s because you had to have like shortening and like all of the old fashioned ingredients.
Yep.
But everyone liked them. So they're kind of like a spicy. I mean, it's got like a spice, like a, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's just like a spice kind of molasses cookie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like
because you add cinnamon and you add, I mean, it's like all the spices in there. So, because it almost smells like pumpkin spice when you're baking them.
Really? Interesting. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the list of ingredients, you've got sugar shortening, molasses, 1 egg, flour, salt, 2.5 teaspoons of soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. It's the mace, right? That's hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at least it is in your area.
In my area, it was. I went to several stores and they didn't have it.
It's kind of hard to find here too. Believe it or not, I tried to find it in a few stores around here. It was really hard to find. Like, I think you had to order it
on Amazon. I had to get it.
Yeah, and I think you either have to order it through Walmart or Amazon here in order to get it. Like most stores don't stock it here in the Twin Cities metro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a quarter cup of milk, and yeah, but it looks delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and they turned out really well.
Cool. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right. So there you go, Jason. You get the thumbs up from Mallie. It's a good recipe. Let's see here. All right. I've got a separate note here from Raul. I think this was for True Crime Tuesday, but I'm gonna read this anyways. He says sexual harassment is extremely common in the food service industry. I think I made a joke about.
Oh, that's why he's reaching out to you?
Yeah, he's reaching out and almost never reported. He said, my girlfriend worked at a restaurant where male employees openly slapped women's butts, made sexual comments, and crossed every boundary imaginable. When I confronted the kitchen manager for making advances toward her, I was banned from the restaurant. He kept his job. My girlfriend lost shifts. That is why people stay silent. Reporting harassment often leads to retaliation, lost income, and being labeled the problem instead of being protected. Thanks, Raul, for sending that in. Kate has a story about Grandma, a visit from Grandma. She says, Happy New Year's. So this is more of a sweet story that happened the day my grandmother passed away. My grandmother went through quite a bit during her life. Her father passing away when she was 5, living in an orphanage with her sister during the Great Depression, while her mother got her teaching degree, having a stepfather who wasn't the best kind of person, battling and recovering from alcoholism, battling and ultimately dying from complications that arose from combative dementia. That being said, she was one of the best grandmothers a person could ask for. While she overcame all of the above, she always struggled with technology, LOL. Yeah, I think most older people do. Anytime she wanted to turn the TV on or watch a movie on the VCR, she had to ask my great uncle to work his magic, quote unquote, and turn the thing on or put the TV on the right setting for watching videos. She never was able to figure out DVD/Blu-ray players. Given what she went through during her life, it seemed fitting that she passed away on International Women's Day after almost a week in a coma. That night, I was falling asleep and I heard my Blu-ray player start to open and close. Thinking it was one of my cats lying just right on the remote, I reached underneath the cat who was lying next to me, only to find that the remote was not there. Getting up to try to find the remote, I was surprised to notice that the power cord to the Blu-ray player isn't even plugged in, as my housemate had been watching some old family videos in my old VCR earlier that day. So there's no power to the Blu-ray. As soon as I processed the fact that the Blu-ray player wasn't plugged in at all, it stopped opening and closing. I like to think that it was my grandmother letting me know that she was okay and saying goodbye. That's signed Kate. Or, hear me out here, Kate. Grandma wanted to watch a movie.
Yeah.
And she's just letting you know, get up and work this thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's probably a good movie she wanted to see. And, your great uncle wasn't around to work the Blu-ray player.
Mm-hmm.
You were it. Just saying. Okay. And finally, Marky Mark has his predictions for 2026, and he's getting them in just under the wire. I gave a deadline, February 1st, Mallie.
Mm-hmm.
And Marky Mark says, hey, guys, guess I better get my 2026 predictions in before the clock strikes February. I pulled up my predictions from last year. Yes, you can check my work on either the second or third episode of 2025. See, everybody now feels they need to prove it because I called one person out on air. So, Okay, Marky Mark, we'll check. But we are checking. We're making a list. We're checking it twice. So I'll go over them quickly as I make new ones. It says, number one, the NFL. Looks like last year I picked the Vikings to fizzle out before the NFC Championship game. Being a Ravens fan, I picked the same fate for them. Looks like I nailed that. Number one, this year I'll predict a purple-free playoffs. Neither the Vikes nor the Ravens will make it in. That's not too bold. He says here, a bit bold, call it a hunch. That's not bold at all. I could have. He said a purple-free playoffs. The Ravens the Ravens didn't make it in, did they? No, they didn't make it in. Okay. Number two, Ukraine. Last year I said the U.S. would cut funding to Ukraine and force the conflict to a conclusion. Guess I underestimated the egos of those involved and America's willingness to fund the continuation of a bloody war. That's on me, he says. So for this year, I'll keep hope alive and say that a ceasefire deal will be struck. Fingers crossed. That's a good one. That's a good one. Number three, economy. Last year, it was my prediction that the economy would stay flat and that some markets dipping near recession, and that 2026 would be the real growth year. Depending on the metric you use, you can make the argument that's what happened. Your call on that. Let me look at how you put this again here, Marky Mark. You said your prediction was that the economy would stay flat with some markets dipping near recession and that 2026 would be the real growth year. It could be argued that the economy was not flat. It was far from flat. Markets did dip. They way dipped. It flirted with recession. So I'd give you a half on that. I'd give you a half on that. Yeah. But nothing was flat by no means. Depending on the metric you use. He says you can make the argument that that's what happened. You're calling that since the end part of that prediction was growth in 2026, let's keep that as my 2026 prediction and say that investment, job growth, and wage increases will spark an economic upturn. Okay, well, you got 11 months left. So we'll keep optimistic. We'll keep optimistic on that. Number four, celebrity deaths. So I predicted for last year the sudden death of a politician. Unfortunately, we all know what happened here in Minnesota. For this year, I think I'll stay away from deaths. This year, just for fun, I'll say that the U.S. will actually acquire Greenland, either in whole or more likely strategic parts. Will it happen? Who knows at this point? Just thought it would be an interesting pick. We don't know what happened last week because there was no deal in kind. They just said they came to a deal, but they didn't tell us what it was. So really, there's no deal. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep it up there. Number five, Darkness Radio. Last year, I said Darkness Radio would have an upgrade with more viewers and more reach. I won't speak for the show, but just might have happened. Let's keep Dream alive and make that my final prediction for 2026 as well. Here's to another 20 years of Darkness Radio. Cheers. Well, thank you, Marky Mark. I would like that prediction as well.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That'd be very nice.
We'll say let's get number five moving. All right. Right on. Yeah, in the GATE program, the GATE or Gateway program, we were talking about that. I have a couple more of those emails. I think I'll save them for next week. But a few of you reached out about the GATE or Gateway program. Again, that was the program where people were remembering being pulled into a room, doing testing, being told it was a gifted program. Some of you were taken to special classes, but never really told what it was. You had to listen to different things on headphones, or you were given matching things, or had workbooks you took home and then didn't really go anywhere. Lots of people got pulled into this, especially people that listen to the show, which means you're all very gifted. I like that. We're all very gifted people. Some people, it was pulled under a special program. Other people say it was just bizarre. It's very interesting. I find it all very fascinating. But that Gateway program, something interesting. I find it all very interesting. And I wonder what happened to that program. The fact that it just, like a puff of smoke, just disappeared and went nowhere, right? Or anywhere. To the four winds, right? I don't know. And you got to wonder what it was for. And now you have this whole generation of quote unquote kids, rainbow children, autistic, whatever you want to call it, that they seem to be hyper intelligent, but yet are insulary. They go within themselves. Was that the beginning? Was that first generation that they didn't want to talk about? It's all very interesting. All right, let's move forward after Parashare. Here's an interesting story. An Indian family is terrified as a curse sees their home catch fire 15 times in a week.
Oh, geez.
Do you believe in curses?
I do, actually. I'm very superstitious.
Yeah. The unexplained and seemingly spontaneous fires allegedly began happening after a sage visited the house. A peculiar story out of India this month tells of a family from the Kachari who had been forced out of their home by a spate of mysterious fires. According to reports, the phenomena had began after the house was visited by a sadhu, or a holy man. The sadhu had asked for bread, but when he learned that they didn't have any and was offered rice and water instead, he was said to have become very angry and cursed the building, stating that as he left, it would catch fire. Don't piss off the holy man, I think is the
right.
Is the lesson here. A few days later, sure enough, a fire broke out, then another, and then another. The fires would begin seemingly out of nowhere. Sometimes a pile of clothes would begin to burn out of the blue, while other times it was bedding or foodstuffs. Bizarre. For some reason, my iPad wants to act up. Maybe it's going to burst into flames. It doesn't want to.
What if he's like in cahoots with someone that was in that family? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think? Maybe.
Like, hey, kid, I'll give you $20 if you just start lighting things on fire.
Oh, you think there's an actual physical reason for it?
You never know.
Maybe.
To make it look like he's, that talented.
That could be. So you think that you don't think there's an actual supernatural reason? You think maybe he has somebody on the inside?
You never know. I mean, that's a lot of times in 1 week.
That is. 15 times is kind of egregious. And maybe that, do you think that pulls loyalty from a holy man to a family? If all of a sudden he says, I'm going to put a curse on you, and then all of a sudden they have to come back to him and say, well, can you lift this curse? We believe in you. Maybe you've got to pledge allegiance to the holy man then. Much like the modern day psychic here in America.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be something, wouldn't it? I think you might be onto something there, Mallie. Yeah. All right. Our next story has to do with prophecy. Our next couple of stories, prophecy and let's just say it goes a little ways away from a curse, but prophecy and the Doomsday Clock. We'll tie the two in together. Prophecy from an apocalyptic Messiah warns of death so widespread that even birds won't escape. And kind of ties into the warning of World War III. And it could even appear this week, according to this story. A poem written over 120 years ago by a revered religious figure has resurfaced as some fear its prediction of an apocalyptic event could be coming true today. Like right now. Mm-hmm. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, also known as the Promised Messiah and the Imam Mahdi, wrote a 1905 poem describing massive earthquakes and destruction across the world, which some have now interpreted as a warning of World War III. In the poem, published around the time of his death in 1908, Ahmad predicted streams of blood flowing from widespread death. That's cheery. Entire regions being wiped out, a massive earthquake, and even strange sky events beyond scientific explanation. It mentions a calamity befalling the Tsar of Russia, has been seen by some as foreshadowing modern conflicts involving Russia, such as the war in Ukraine and continued tensions with the U.S. and NATO. A sign will come, and this is a quote from I believe, the man himself. A sign will come some days hence, which will turn over villages, cities, and fields. Wrath of God will bring a revolution in the world. The undressed one would be unable to tie his trousers. This is according to Ahmad's 1905 poem. That is weird, isn't it? I love when we take something from 100 plus years ago and then try and throw it modern day, especially when you're unable to tie your own trousers.
Yes.
Yeah. Suddenly, a quake will severely shake mortals, trees, mountains, and seas. All in the twinkling of an eye, the land shall turn over. Streams of blood will flow like rivers of water. Boy, this guy's kind of a modern hip hop kind of guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Got to put it to a beat. I can see it going.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmad, who was born in 1835 in Kadian, India, founded the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam and dedicated his life to defending his faith against criticisms from other religions, such as Christianity. He also claimed to receive multiple divine revelations. Ahmad's followers believe he was divinely appointed as the guided leader expected in Islamic end times prophecies. There is some skepticism, however, about the potential ties to current world tensions, such as Russia no longer has a czar. There's that in 2026. And some believers have suggested that Ahmad's predictions referred to a major earthquake in India before his death. In his book, Barahin-e-Ahmadiyya, written in the late 1800s, Ahmad wrote that a warner came unto the world, but the world accepted him not, which believers have suggested meant disasters and wars would break out after a divine messenger was rejected by the people. In the philosophy of divine revelation from the early 1900s, Ahmad warned of a terrible earthquake coming. There will be a death on such a large scale that streams of blood will flow. Even birds and grazing animals will not escape this death, the religious leader foretold. Those days are near. Indeed, they are at the door when the world shall witness the spectacle of a doomsday. He also spoke of mighty assaults from God and heaven that seemed to depict the launching of missiles in a global war and the immense distress this would cause the leader of Russia. The terror of it will exhaust everyone, the great and small. Even the Tsar will be at that hour in a state of the utmost distress, Ahmad wrote in the poem. It will be a glimpse of wrath, that heavenly sign. The sky shall draw its dagger to attack. Despite his dire warnings of the future, Ahmad's main goal for the founding of the Ahmadiyya movement was to present Islam as a peaceful, tolerant, and rational religion based on the Quran and the example of the Prophet Muhammad. After Ahmad's death in 1908, the Ahmadiyya movement split into two main branches due to disagreements over the late leader's exact religious status: the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and the Lahore Ahmadiyya movement. operate independently from one another, with their key doctrinal difference being how they view Ahmad. Ahmadiyya Muslim community sees him as a subordinate prophet under Muhammad, while the Lahore branch views him as strictly a reformer without prophethood. However, both acknowledge the existence of the 1905 poem and its prophecy of a cataclysmic event following Ahmad's death, which both branches suggest includes events that have already taken place. So they believe that this is past tense, the stuff that happened in the poem. Specifically, Lahore interpreted Ahmad's warning to be about World War I, which began in 1914. Meanwhile, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has suggested that the quake mentioned by Ahmad described major seismic events in India. However, the prophecy is resurfaced in 2026 as scientists in the U.S. prepare to update the so-called Doomsday Clock, which we'll talk about now, which is said to show how close the world is to a man-made global catastrophe such as nuclear war. Let's tell you now about the Doomsday Clock, which has been updated, Mallie.
Okay.
It's moved to 4 seconds closer to midnight. Midnight, of course, being the end.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The symbolic clock has inched closer than ever to Armageddon due to a global failure in leadership. It's maintained by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists since 1947. The Doomsday Clock is a visual representation of how close the world is to disaster based on political, environmental, and technological threats such as nuclear annihilation and climate change. Last year, the clock's hands were moved to 89 seconds to midnight, the closest it's ever been. And now today, it moved even closer still, showing a time of just 85 seconds to midnight. Among the reasons for the latest change are the ever-increasing risk of global war, the threat posed by artificial intelligence, runaway climate change, and favorable changes in global policies. Countries such as China, Russia, and the U.S. took the brunt of the blame. Of course, the Doomsday Clock is about global risks, and what we have seen is a global failure in leadership. Bulletin of the Atomic Scientist CEO Alexandra Bell told Reuters. No matter the government, a shift towards neo-imperialism and an Orwellian approach to governance will only serve to push the clock toward midnight, they went on to say. I think we're all screwed. That's pretty much what they're saying. We're all screwed. In terms of nuclear risks, they say nothing in 2025 trended in the right direction. Long-standing diplomatic frameworks are under duress or collapsing. The threat of explosive nuclear testing is returned. Proliferation, I'll get it right, Mallie. Concerns are growing, and there were 3 military operations taking place under the shadow of nuclear weapons and the associated escalatory threats. The risk of nuclear use is unsustainably and unacceptably high, and Russia, China, and the U.S. and other major countries have become increasingly aggressive and nationalistic, they went on to say. So yeah, 4 seconds. Trim 4 seconds off that sucker.
Mm.
Yep. But, you know, the birds are still singing.
Yep.
Yep. Sun is still shining. And we're all still here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I choose to stay Pollyanna on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call me when it's 2 seconds until.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So 4 seconds for that and 7 seconds of losing gravity.
Yes. Yeah. 7 seconds of losing gravity.
Yeah.
When we lose that 7 seconds of gravity, then we'll probably got 1 second until the Doomsday Clock is done.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a hell of a day.
It's a hell of a day, isn't it? Yeah. The Ark of the Covenant may have had a different purpose, according to this Egyptologist. The biblical chest was thought to have been a container in which Moses placed the original 10 Commandments. Speaking of, over the weekend, HBO Comedy unveiled the documentary on Mel Brooks.
Okay.
And there's the famous scene from History of the World Part 1 where Moses comes out with the 15 and he drops the tablet and goes 10 commandments, which that scene gets me every time. I don't know why, but it does. I just had to remind people of that. Mm-hmm. One of the most sought after and mystifying religious artifacts in history, the Ark of the Covenant, remains a fascinating enigma, and nobody is quite sure if it ever actually existed at all, it says in this here article. Even if the Ark was real, we don't know if it survived or if it even is still around, and nobody knows where. I know some people who know
Mm-hmm.
New Egyptologist David Falk of the University of Liverpool has opened up the possibility that the Ark might have served a very different purpose to the one it is typically associated with. He argues that rather than holding the original tablets inscribed with the Ten Commandments, the Ark may have instead been modeled after Egyptian shrines that were designed to hold statues or idols. By comparison, the Ark would have been empty, a demonstration of the fact that God's presence did not require a physical representation, in stark contrast to its Egyptian contemporaries. Its ornate appearance helped it to invert and reject the religious norms of the time, with the Ark's decorative cherubim representing a sacred space, not inside it, but above it. It's certainly an interesting approach, though it still leaves more questions than answers. Exactly where the Ark now resides, or even if it ever actually existed at all, it says here in this article, still remains unclear. You just got to talk to the right people. That's all. Mm-hmm. There's another story about Egypt here this week, in that its pyramids were built using an internal lifting system, at least according to this study.
Okay.
So no aliens. No, just an elevator. I don't know how do you think the pyramids were built? I'm curious what you think.
I have no idea, to be honest. I really don't. I think one way and then something comes. I don't know.
Do you think it was magnetism, water?
I don't know, to be honest. It just
little Egyptians.
On their little backs.
Yeah, on their little backs. I mean, you know.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. To be honest, it changes.
It does. New research has proposed that counterweights and pulley-like mechanisms were used to build the pyramids. The effort and skill needed to construct something like Egypt's Great Pyramid cannot be understated. Long before the availability of modern technology, the ancient Egyptians had mastered the art of moving and placing huge stone blocks with remarkable level of precision. Exactly how they did this has long remained a topic of heated debate, with archaeologists unable to decide on a definitive explanation for how they managed to lift the blocks into place. Now, in a new study, Dr. Simon Andreas Schuring of Weill Cornell Medicine in New York has outlined a case for a complex system of sliding counterweights and pulleys situated inside the structure itself. This, he argues, would have been essential, as brute force wouldn't have been enough on its own. Using counterweights, the builders could have lifted huge stone blocks to the upper levels of the pyramids in a remarkably short time, even as quickly as 1 block per minute. Dr. Schuring maintains that architectural features within the Great Pyramid, such as the Grand Gallery and Ascending Passage, are evidence of where the counterweights might have dropped. He also suggests that the antechamber might have been part of a pulley-like mechanism. Such a system would have certainly made the construction easier, especially compared to having large numbers of workers manually hauling each and every stone block into position, proving beyond doubt that such a method was actually used, however, is likely to prove quite the challenge. I tend to believe that, or some sort of system over an alien dropping it with their ship. I don't know, but that's just
I mean, I don't think it's aliens, but yeah, I don't know.
Not quite sure. Another story here, 26-foot tall prehistoric structures may have been a whole new form of life, according to this story, known as prototaxites. These bizarre organisms had long proven challenging to categorize. If you had gone for a stroll through a swamp around 400 million years ago, you might have struggled to even recognize the landscapes as something that belonged to planet Earth. Among the alien-like features would be peculiar pillar-like structures, some exceeding 20 feet in height. These were produced by prototaxites, which are mysterious organisms that form these trunk-like structures from large numbers of tiny interwoven tubules, which is hard to say after I've been reading for this long. Mm-hmm. At the time, they would have been the largest land-dwelling organisms anywhere on Earth. What exactly are they, though? They're a type of fungus, or perhaps something else entirely. After years of debate and uncertainty, researchers in the UK now believe that the reason that it has been so difficult to categorize prototaxites is that they are, in fact, an entirely new form of life, something completely unrelated to anything else, and that they have no modern equivalent. To determine this, they systematically examined fossilized fragments of prototaxites and compared them to every other candidate group, ruling each one out as they went along. Based on the investigation, we were unable to assign prototaxites to any extant lineage, reinforcing this uniqueness, they concluded. The quote here is, we conclude that the morphology and molecular fingerprint of P. tidy.
Don't.
Okay.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
P. tidy whitey is clearly distinct from that of the fungi and other organisms preserved alongside it in the Devonian deposit, and that we suggest that it is best considered a member of a previous undescribed, entirely extinct group of eukaryotes. So they sung for a living.
Okay.
I guess. All right. With that, Mallie, it's time now for our palate cleanser.
Okie doke.
And literally, for our palate cleanser this week, we talk about how sometimes heaven delivers us manna. And sometimes when it's delivered to us in the most unusual way, sometimes it just washes up on shore, we take and throw it right back at God.
Okay.
That's what our friends in England have done.
Gotcha.
In England, they had onions and chips just wash right up on shore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people would take that and make a party.
Okay.
In England, they said, oh, what's this crap? Last month, chips, onions, bananas, and insulation foam and other peculiar things started showing up along their coast. Now, you'd think, let's do something with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is all this stuff just showing up on our coast? Well, over Christmas, vegetables, bananas, insulation foam all started washing up on beaches along England's southeast coast. They were from 16 containers that were spilled by the cargo ship Baltic Clipper in rough seas. In the new year, a further 24 containers fell from 2 vessels during Storm Goretti, with chips and onions among the goods appearing on the Sussex shoreline. I don't know about you, Mal, but...
Are you thinking chips and dip?
Chips and dip. Let's have a party, right?
Sour cream and onion dip?
Right. For most people, this is a nuisance or perhaps a bit of fun, but for oceanographers like the guy who wrote this article, Simon Boxall, who studies tides and currents, it's also an accidental experiment, a rare chance to watch the ocean move things in real time. He thought of it as a very large message in a bottle.
Ah.
Yeah. In reality, cargo has been falling off ships since traders first went to sea. What's changed that in the modern world is most goods are transported in standardized containers. Apart from oil, gas, vehicles, bulk grain, aggregates, and people, pretty much everything is moved in this way. More than 250 million containers are shipped around the world each year, and it is likely that over 80% of our goods in your home are traveled at some point in a container by sea. That's a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Losses are rare. Industry group, the World Shipping Council, estimates that over the past 10 years, an average of 1,274 containers a year have been lost globally. Out of hundreds of millions transported, this figure does vary. In 2020, a single huge ship, the one Apis, lost around 1,800 containers of its 14,000 load in a Pacific storm, while in 2024, global losses were estimated at just 576 containers. Some losses make the news in unexpected ways. In January of 1992, 12 containers washed off the Ever Laurel in the North Pacific. One of these contained 28,800 bath toys, such as plastic beavers, frogs, turtles, and ducks, which spilled into the ocean and washed up on beaches around the Pacific over the next decade or more. Now, see, that would have been fun. Mm. Get yourself a plastic beaver. Why not? Show it off to your friends. Mm-hmm. Be like, look, I got me a beaver. Kurt Ebesmeyer and James Ingram, oceanographers from Seattle, tracked these so-called friendly floaties around the world and used them to improve scientific models of ocean circulation. In more recent years, the writer of this article looked at the progress of these floaties into the Arctic and beyond to kind of track the ocean currents. Mm-hmm. Not all cargoes are this benign or useful. In January of 2007, the MSC Napoli was hit by a major storm in the channel and lost 114 containers, 80 of which washed up on beaches around Branscombe in Devon. Containers of wine, pay attention, BMW motorbikes, and perfumes drew locals to scour the beach for prizes, but there were also for more sinister containers containing explosives, weed killers, fertilizers, and acid.
Yikes.
That's a little dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Both the cargoes and containers themselves are posing serious risks. Chemicals can destroy habitats, while containers can sometimes lurk 1 or 2 meters below the surface and can be kept semi-buoyant by trapped air, making them difficult to detect and capable of causing serious damage in a collision. But there you go. I mean, sometimes you get a little something or another. By the way, if you do see a container on a beach, you want to resist the temptation to see it as an early Christmas present. You should report it immediately to the Coast Guard. Scavenging wrecks can count as theft, especially in the UK. Who owns what washes up is decided by a single civil servant with the grand title of Receiver of the Wreck. That is an actual title in the UK. Critically, that container may contain a far less pleasant cargo that could ruin your Christmases for years to come. In other words, it could have explosives in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that's in the UK. I don't know how they handle it in the US, but I think it's finders keepers in the US. I think it's, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I think that's how they handle it here. So if you just happen to be on the beach in the U.S. and you see a little container of plastic floaties or wine, like let's say it's a big old thing of wine, load that sumbitch up in your truck and run.
Exactly.
That's not official advice from Darkness Radio, but
right.
Yeah.
We will deny.
Yeah, we'll deny everything. We'll say we never told you to do that, but you know, if you do, hey, call us. We'll help you get rid of it. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Allegedly. Just saying. All right. That's our program for this week. What's new in your world, Mallie?
Trying to think. Nothing much. I'm gonna start baking again.
Yeah.
So and making my cocktails. But other than that, nothing.
Oh.
I don't think. Yeah.
Good time of year to do that.
Yeah. Things are starting to slow down with the kiddos, so I think I'm gonna start doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just don't take the witch's point of view and start baking the children. That would be horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
How
bake
about you?
a recipe. Well, just a whole lot of nothing. Football season's pretty much over.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pretty much.
yeah. And other than turning my attention to some hockey games, not much.
Yeah. Not until spring when it starts to get warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People say to me, Tim, there's the UFL. And I go, I'd sooner shoot my good foot off. Yeah. But no, now is the time where we in the late winter, early spring, where we turn our attention to getting ready for the chipmunks to wake up.
Gotcha.
I think I will now focus my attention on making a giant playground for the chippers.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how. I'm going to make one of those giant clear tube playgrounds for them.
Okay.
In my mad thinking is this, Mallie. The reason you do that is so a hawk can see it from 500 feet up and not attack them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that they end up hitting the thing and bouncing off. Because I'm sick like that. And it gives protection to my little buddies. Actually, I probably would put a roof on it so they can't see them from 500 feet away.
Yeah. You don't want to give your little friends a heart attack.
No, I don't. No, I want them to play in peace. So, yeah, but I'm thinking about making them a huge, like, little tube maze playground thing.
Okay.
So I might work on that this winter. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if I have any projects this winter. I know. I don't know if you guys have any any builders out there that have plans to make a huge tube maze for chipmunks. I know it's rare, but if you have them, send them along to tim@darknessradio.com. I'd like to have a preformed plan to this deal rather than try to I almost said free ball it. Free base it? Free build it? That's what it is. Free build it. You never want to free ball a maze. Mm-hmm. All right. Tomorrow on the program, Gib Berry will be joining us. We'll be talking about the afterlife and how it could be totally a physical thing. In other words, it can be found through physics.
Okay.
We'll see why there's a scientific explanation to the afterlife and why Gib himself has found it. It's coming up tomorrow on the show. That's how we'll end our week and end our January. Big stuff coming in February.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we're just keep going. The heats just keep on coming. Got an interesting show for Valentine's week, by the way, too.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been planning ahead. Been doing this planning ahead thing. It's kind of fun, Mallie.
Very cool.
Planning ahead. All right, folks, that'll do it for this week. Again, join us tomorrow for Gib Berry and the physical side of the afterlife. It's coming up tomorrow right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. A reminder, go to darknessradioshow.com, check out the shop, because we have, again, all new swag for both Darkness Radio and True Crime Tuesday. Get your hoodies, get your mugs, get your t-shirts, a desk mat, and a Darkness Radio Rocks glass. It says life is short. I'll drink to that. Go check it out right now. All right, we'll see you tomorrow for Gib Berry and the physical side of the paranormal right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.